Ranting 101. Why do we have so many hang-ups about sexuality? A lot of different ones. We'll take a common fetish that's out there in the world. We'll take foot fetishism. Okay? Lots of people fantasize about feet. Whether it's high heels or stockings or people in horrible plastic Crocs shoes. Crocs should die! Or whether it's trainers, or whether it's the idea of licking your partner's feet, or whether it's whole gamut of sexuality, right? One object on the body. If you're coming from a Muslim perspective, feet are amazingly hot and sexy because they are taboo. Showing the bottom of someone's foot is one of the worst offenses you could possibly do. Therefore, there's something really dirty and raunchy and disgusting and hot about somebody who you love showing the bottom of your feet to you because it's a bit about erotic humiliation. And the idea that somebody you love showing that you're filthy for a moment and then embracing you. If we're coming from a 1940s and 50s perspective, especially in America, we're looking at the idea of the tease, the top of the stocking, and the idea that we might be getting to see something we shouldn't. If we're looking at it from a 1980s perspective, we're looking at the trashy slut in the torn up fishnets and the bad smeared makeup and the little plastic jelly shoes or the 6-inch stiletto heels tromping down the feet because she's the good girl that we shouldn't want. And therefore we will idolize her legs and her feet because she's the slut, the whore, the Julia Roberts. Right? So if all of these things are messages that we're getting from either media or an early experience that we had that are staying stuck like a craw in the back of your brain, it evolves what your own perceptions of what sexuality should be are. Then, if you have one of these amazing hot fantasy moments and thoughts and dreams and desires, and somebody growing up, your mom finds you trying on her high heels, and you're supposed to be that good little boy. And that's your first thing about wanting to explore sexuality at all. And the first thing you get is, young man, get you out of my closet. All right? It gives us hang-ups for life. Or our first time we fumble around in the back seat with somebody and we can't quite get that bra undone, and then they do it for you. Part of your identity of wanting to be the one to always, that in your fantasies you were always the Romeo and you couldn't even undo a bra strap and the girl had to do it for you, can go two different ways. It could turn into you being unsure and uncertain of yourself all the time and not sure, or actually 3 different ways. Or it could be you wanting to go become a Casanova now and woo everyone and get perfect at all forms of sexuality, yet still being that little boy in the back seat, in the back of your brain. You don't want to mess up anymore because you don't want to have that feeling again. Or you let yourself go completely submissive and from here on out, let your partner always take off their clothes from you and you go voyeuristic and let people strip for you and undress for you because of one little moment fumbling around in the back seat. I think it's about personal experience of the things that have happened to us developing our own sexuality. I think for some people it's about familial or close friendship, things that you were told growing up. Watching your father or uncle or whatever get a divorce because they weren't able to live up to their expectations in the bedroom. Finding out that your mother never had an orgasm until she was older can mess up your perspectives of sexuality. Maybe it's about media, right? What are we told on the movies, on television, in books, in radio, in magazines, in school books? The human brain gloms onto weird little things. You could be told 1,000 times by somebody that you're beautiful, but you won't hear it. until you find somebody that you believe the voice of. We can be told 1,000 times, oh, no, you're just fine. You're perfect enough for me. And then your brain gloms onto the word enough. Well, if I'm just enough for them, then maybe they want more. I think it goes back to the fact that we don't want to be lonely. And there are some people I've met out there who are strong enough to just be themselves 112% of the time. And they don't need anybody else in their life. And if they have somebody, cool. It's an added bit of spice. But I think for 99.9% of us on this globe, there's fear of rejection and fear of humiliation, fear of pain, fear of destruction of ego. Or worse yet, fear of actually getting what we want and realizing that if our sex lives can be happy, maybe we could try to be happy at the office too. And if we're happy at the office, why aren't we happy with our politics? You mean that we could change the world? It's a lot easier for people to walk a middle line than it is to actually risk. Because if we risk, we can get hurt. But if we risk, we can live bigger and happier and healthier. What kind of person are you? If you're stripping on stage and there's lights up so that you can see your audience and no one's looking at you, it's heartbreaking. It's like being on a stage doing comedy and you hit the best punchline of your life and no one laughs, but you think you heard somebody snore at the back of the stage, back of the audience. That's heart-wrenching. There's the other side of things, though, where I put an amazing piece of me up out there in the world, or something completely trite, where it's just some blowjob film that I have no emotional attachment to. And 3 years later, you get a piece of fan mail saying, wow, not only was that hot, not only did I jerk off to you 8 times, yeah, honestly, that kind of fan mail's annoying. Sweet, endearing, I get where they're coming from. Wow, you've got great hips. I want to come across your ass, love, Bob. Okay, great. But when I get that message that says, thank you for doing that really amazingly hot piece of Russian spy game role-playing smut you did, because it led to me getting to have one of the best sex nights of my life with my lover, and it ended up us turning into us exploring the rest of our sexuality and our fantasies, and I just wanted to write and say thank you. There's something really amazing to know that you've made a difference in this world. And with this stuff, even if it's somebody saying, oh my God, he's a sick fuck, I don't get it, I hate that. Wow, at least you discovered something new about yourself. Somewhere to start a conversation. Or maybe it's a moment to go, I really hate that sick person, oh my God. Wait, why do I hate them? Why is this rage here? And maybe that person at home is going to get to turn over a new leaf. That's worth every piece of heartache for me.